UFC 273 weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. Great card in store. I'm really excited to talk about each fight after seeing the fighters on the scales. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and share the video as well. We'll start it off with Oleinik, Daniel Santos, and Julio Arce. Now note this, Arce did miss weight. And it looked like on the scale, it was a struggle earlier in the week. I'm on the dog. Santos, we'll look at the weigh-in here. There's the official weigh-in. Santos looked in great shape. Arce, he has the little guard up to, not show his naked self there. But he had a hard time making weight. He still missed weight. At the ceremonial weigh-ins, I will say Arce did look fairly rehydrated. Face-off was good. Intensity there. They're ready to go. I think Daniel Santos is still going to win this fight. There's no flip on the pick. I personally felt a little more confident because my concern with Julio Arce is he fights at 45. I think he does his best work. At this weight class here, 135 pounds, obviously he had a hard time making weight, came in at 36 and a half, very close to the limit, but I think that's as far as he really could push his body. Oleinik, easier time making weight, younger guy. It's not like there's a size difference really between the two. I feel like Arce's durability is something really in question here. I'm going Daniel Oleinik Santos for the win by knockout. I like the shoot the box kickboxing style. I think he'll pressure Arce, who's a pretty good technician, and I think we're going to see Santos catch him and put him out. He's a plus 160 underdog, Arce minus 170. We'll look at the props and we'll see if we can find for knockout Santos, Oleinik. Plus 550, plus 500. I definitely could see it potentially going long here, but I don't hate the knockout touch as more of like a wide, like Hail Mary style play. I think that we're going to see Oleinik win the fight by KO. Arce looking drained on the scales isn't the main reason I'm picking against him, though. I just like the stand-up game from Santos. I think the ground is competitive. Maybe even the edge goes Santos. Fun matchup, prospect to watch in Oleinik, and I think Daniel Oleinik Santos beats Julio Arce, and I'm going knockout in this one. Let's keep running up. The ladies going after it. Piera Rodriguez versus Kay Hansen. Hansen dropping the last two, so she needs a win here. Misses weight. Comes in at 118 and a half. Didn't want to attempt a second cut. Shows that she's not interested in making the weight, really. I think that Piera Rodriguez is a problem. Earlier in the week, I picked her. Let's check them out on the official scales here. There is Piera Rodriguez. And I mean, when you saw her at the ceremonial weigh-in, she also looked really shredded out. Kay Hansen, it's not like she looks incredibly lean, but you can tell she had a bit of a weight cut, but doesn't look like she's dying on the scales. People are concerned about her seriousness towards MMA. I'm not going to go as far as to say anything about that, but I will tell you this. I think Piera Rodriguez is going to beat her. I think Piera Rodriguez's stand-up game is a problem. I don't think Kay Hansen has the effective wrestling tools that I think the hype pushes on her. I think we're going to see Piera Rodriguez outstrike her, and I think, honestly, win the 3 rounds, unanimous decision. I don't think the weight miss really gives Kay Hansen too much favorable here. Yeah, sure, maybe she'll be strong inside, but I think Piera Rodriguez defends. I think she'll get back up to the feet if it goes to the floor. I'm not super impressed with Hansen's top game, especially against a girl like Piera Rodriguez. I think it's a problem. I'm going Piera win, unanimous decision as far as the lines for this matchup. Minus 118 for Rodriguez. Hansen plus 112. I like Piera for the win. I do think we're going longer here. Maybe the over 2.5, minus 198 best value, but more like minus 225. Piera to win by a decision. Plus 155 for that one. Plus 175 best value. Not a bad touch. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if there was a finish in this fight either, and I definitely lean it towards Piera's favor. I like Piera Rodriguez for the W. I think she's going to beat Kay Hansen. If I'm touching the line, I like money line more so, but definitely decision isn't bad there. Aleksei Oleinik versus Jared Vanderaa, the mountain of a man, Jared Vanderaa. Really, these guys are about the same height, very similar size between the two. Just weight difference, something that favors Vanderaa. But note this, Oleinik came in heavier for this fight, 244. Recent bouts, we've seen him at 228. I think that is because he knows he's dealing with a big man. He had extra time to prepare for this matchup with the rescheduling. I think he probably put on a couple pounds since then. He's definitely not trying to come in light. On the feet, Vanderaa has the advantage. On the ground, it's Oleinik. Let's check them out on the scales. Earlier in the week, I was on the Vanderaa side. quickly slide to it. There is Jared Vanderaa. No beard Vanderaa. And there is Oleinik. I'll be honest, at 44, he still looks youthful. Even at the face-off, it looked, cool, competitive, calm, and both guys of similar stature and size. If Oleinik goes to the floor with Vanderaa, it's a problem. I think Vanderaa could catch him on the feet, but I hate relying on puncher's chances here. I really don't want to flip-flop the pick, so I'm going to stick with my guns and ride Vanderaa, but there's going to be a no bet on Vanderaa for me. And if I am touching the line, which I have not yet, but I am considering going Oleinik underdog, win by submission, because Oleinik has that method of victory. If I'm betting, I'm going value. I think plus 160, it's a light touch play potentially. Vanderaa might get the KO as well. I think it's a competitive matchup. I have it like 51% to 49%. Tricky fight, true pick'ems. I'll pick Vanderaa, but if you're on the betting side, go underdog. And I think you lean that submission prop for Aleksei Oleinik. It's a hard guy to finish to Oleinik, though I do think Vanderaa could potentially catch him. I don't love it here. Very flip-floppy on this fight, and I never like that. So betting-wise, dog or pass situation, but I will ride with Jared Vanderaa, but with low confidence on this one. Next fight of the night. Mickey Gall versus Mike Malott. Earlier in the week, I was on Gall. I've acknowledged a lot of people's opinions on Mike Malott, and I respect his game, and I do think he's a guy that could definitely come out and surprise us and look really good. There's Mike Malott, 170, lean, ready to rock. There is Mickey Gall, 170 as well. I didn't love how Mickey Gall looked at the weigh-ins and the face-offs, but I can't be the flip-flopper. I can't just jump on the Mike Malott hype train. My biggest argument all week long for going against Mike Malott is still going to stand here. We've seen 3 minutes of cage time since 2017. He may be the real deal and may smash through Mickey Gall, but with lack of insight, not seeing enough. Sure, he's got good grappling skills and competes in grappling. Yes, he's coaching MMA fighters at Team Alpha Male. You got to still go with experience. I lean it towards Mickey Gall on a close decision. I could see Mike Malott winning a decision. I like this fight going longer, though. Now, as far as the odds here, Mike Malott is the favorite. He's sitting at minus 173 best value, and then plus 164 from Mickey Gall. Plus money's on Gall if you want to attack the dog side. See if we can load this thing up here. I don't necessarily hate a touch on Gall, but I don't love it either. Over 2.5 is plus money, so they are expecting this fight to end inside of the distance. That's interesting. Over 1.5, minus 150. Maybe the line to touch there is over 1.5, but I don't love it here. Kind of thinking dog, but not loving bets on Mickey Gall. If you go by decision for Gall, he's like plus 575. It's a Hail Mary touch. I think there's definitely a good chance that it's close. Definitely could go the Malott way, but he hasn't shown me enough yet for me to pick him here. And I think Mickey Gall's experience could be the deciding factor. He could get the win, but I acknowledge the threat from Mike Malott, and I'm excited to find out what Mike Malott's all about here. But I will ride with my guy Mickey Gall on a competitive decision. Next fight of the night, Aspen Ladd versus Raquel Pennington. Earlier in the week, I was on Pennington. I am a believer in Raquel Pennington's game. She's a really difficult girl to fight. There is Raquel looking good. There is Aspen Ladd, who looked very good for her normal self on scales at 135. This is no issues, which I liked. I still think that Raquel Pennington has a better overall game, stronger in the clinch. I think her kickboxing is better. At least she definitely lets her hands go better than Aspen Ladd does. Ladd is dangerous if it is on the floor, but I think it's going to be very difficult to get Raquel down. If you do get her down, how long can you keep her down? I'm not super impressed with Aspen Ladd remaining in that top position. I think she can get to the ground, do good work, but Raquel Pennington's a seasoned veteran, has fought the best of the best. I got to go with the experience. I got to go with Raquel as just a well-rounded fighter, and I think she also has the gas tank to go long. I think 3 rounds decision, a lot of clinch fighting, and the strength advantage and the abilities in the clinch I favor towards Raquel. Raquel Pennington win by a unanimous decision in this spot. As far as the lines here, Rocky Pennington, let's find her. She is the favorite, minus 167, plus 157. Ladd as the underdog. I do think it could go longer here, but I think it could be a trap trying to bet it because over 2.5 is in the minus 300 range, so I don't like it. Pennington wins via decision, plus 110, not worth a touch. If you're playing Pennington, it's money line or it's going to be parlaying it up. Do not really like any of the props you could potentially play on that matchup, but I am riding with my girl Raquel Pennington to win a decision. Next fight of the night. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez and Josh Fremd. Got to fly all the way up here because they showed them early. There was Fremd, but we'll show him again. Anthony Hernandez on the scale. Looks pretty good. I like the ink. Josh Fremd doesn't look bad either. When they faced off, the main thing you're going to notice is the height difference. It definitely, was something we expected. 6'4" versus 6 feet. Josh Fremd is a long guy. With that length, I see that chin getting touched. I think Anthony Hernandez has the power to do damage here. I think Anthony Hernandez wins by knockout. No. I actually think Anthony Hernandez drops Josh Fremd and then subs him. Club and sub. Tricky situation, but it's a method of victory I like from Fluffy Hernandez. I could see him getting a clean knockout, but I definitely think him hurting Josh Fremd could set up submission attempts. I like Fluffy. Anthony Hernandez inside distance is really my number one thing that I like on this matchup. Minus 170 for Fremd, for Hernandez. Minus 171 technically. Plus 165 on Fremd. Let's see here. If you touch the ends inside distance, minus 400, minus 350. That's super wide. Hernandez wins inside of the distance is minus 120. I guess you got to pick a method if you go in prop. Hernandez by KO plus 305. Hernandez by sub plus 195. Tricky situation to be in. Something you guys got to sit down on. Personally, don't really love the props, but I think Anthony Hernandez inside distance is the most likely one. You could potentially play just Anthony Hernandez as a money line touch. Maybe you have him on a parlay. I like Anthony Hernandez to win the bout. I do think he gets a finish over Josh Fremd. I'm going to pick submission, but betting side, there's more value on knockout, which is definitely possible, but club and sub seems to be a possible fight ender here. I kind of think club and sub, and I'm going Anthony Hernandez by club and sub, win via submission. Next fight of the night, it is Garry versus Darian Weeks. Feature prelim. Very good fight. Garry, the future, he's talking the talk. Let's see what he can do inside of the cage. Earlier on in the week, I said, listen, give me the underdog. Give me Darian Weeks for the upset. We'll check them out on the scales here. We scroll all the way back down. Piera and Rosenstruik is off. Let's also note that. Very unfortunate. Weeks looks good. Garry doesn't look bad. When they did face off, though, one thing is definitely more just a lean muscle tissue on the weak side, but obviously a 4-inch height difference. Of course, they're both weighing in around the similar weight, 170.5 for each of them. Of course, the longer, taller guy is going to be thinner. I think that strength difference really favors Weeks in the wrestling department. I think he can get Garry to the floor. How much damage will he do from there? That's to be found out. I think Darian Weeks mixing in the takedowns is going to get his hands working. I think Darian Weeks' boxing's a bit underrated. He has fought as a professional boxer, 1-1 record, went distance, split decision loss to a guy who was 5-0, who's now 10-0 in the time. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Weeks is a pretty decent fighter that we haven't seen a ton of yet. And, I mean, when you see him fight, he doesn't look bad. When he fought Barberena, he took it on 5 days' notice, and he lost the close decision. Respectable guy, solid game. I like Darian Weeks. Garry has looked pretty incredible through his Cage Warriors run. But let's see how he does when he fights like a real hungry prospect on the rise stateside. Somebody with some wrestling in the back pocket, some power in the hands, a little bit slept on, especially underrated guy. Darian Weeks has no hype behind him. And Garry, the future nickname, he's got everything riding on him. The line is too wide for me for an unproven guy. Minus 340 for Garry. Weeks plus 310. That line's telling me they think that Garry is going to smoke Weeks. I look forward to the surprise. Now, is it guaranteed to happen? Of course not. There's definitely a chance that Garry starches Darian Weeks, but I can see Weeks getting a late finish or a decision here. I like Darian Weeks to win the fight. As far as the lines, Garry by KO plus 155, best value if you are on that side. I got to note it. Weeks by KO plus 650. Weeks via decision plus 750 at best value, plus 650 though at Bet Online. As far as money line though, I think that's maybe your best touch. You play Darian Weeks with a little bit of something as an underdog, but I don't hate the Garry pickers. Like, I totally understand your guys' sides. I just kind of see Darian Weeks surprising some people here. It definitely could come back to bite me in the ass, and I might be seeing it wrong, but I'm going to ride with it, and I think we're going to see Darian Weeks get a win. I think he gets it done. Now, as far as the over 1.5, I kind of feel like we are going over 1.5. Minus 175, minus 167 best value. Weeks could certainly get caught, but I expect him to fight behind quality defense, finding his way inside and doing damage. I think Darian Weeks upset, but it's not like a absolutely no chance that Garry proves us that he really is, maybe the future. Could end up winning a hard-fought decision as well. I like over 1.5 the most, but I'm riding with the underdog, Darian Weeks. Let's jump to the main card. If you guys haven't, make sure to smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. It is Vinc Pichel versus Madsen, the Olympian. Glad to see the Olympian back in action. I'm very excited for this fight. Earlier on in the week, the pick was Madsen. He was the favorite earlier on in the week, and now it's flipped. There is Vinc Pichel looking in great shape. There is Madsen, the Olympic silver medalist wrestler, looking in very good shape as well. I like the Madsen side, guys. It's very close money. Plus 102, best value for Madsen. Minus 105 towards Vinc Pichel, best value. I think that we are going distance here. I think we're going the full 3, minus 170. Fight goes distance. Over 2.5 rounds, you're looking at minus 200, minus 195. I don't hate an over 2.5 touch. I have it in a long shot parlay. I don't think it's a bad idea to maybe do something like that with a parlay because at minus 200, maybe you're not thinking about betting it straight. Madsen's not a terrible underdog. It's essentially Pick'em's money now here later on in the week. Madsen to win via decision is upwards of plus 240, so that is a pretty wide tag if you want to take the risk on him there. And I think his most likely method of victory is win by decision. For Pichel, it's either going to be decision, maybe a late finish, but I don't think Pichel's striking game is going to be super successful against Madsen. I think Clay Guida's pace is more of a problem than Vinc Pichel's game, and I think Madsen gets himself a unanimous decision and moves to 12-0 here, beating a pretty game Vinc Pichel. I like this matchup a lot. Very excited to see how it goes down, and I'm riding with the Olympian Madsen to start the pay-per-view. Next one, it is Mackenzie Dern versus Tecia, the tiny tornado Torres. Tecia Torres, man, I really am riding her with some decent confidence here. I think stylistically, she's a bad matchup for Mackenzie Dern. Now, let's check them out on the scales. Tecia looking pretty lean. She had the full six-pack that you guys saw at the ceremonials. There's Dern, who looked in very good shape as well. There's a very slight size edge towards Dern. I think Tecia's speed advantage is clear-cut. She has the better boxing of the two, better footwork of the two. Her stand-up game is superior. Yes, Dern's jiu-jitsu definitely superior. But is she going to have an easy time getting it to the ground? I don't think so. If she does get it there, I think it's going to be harder to keep Tecia Torres down than you would even think. And I think, not all of you, some of you definitely thinking Tecia Torres is going to get right back up and scramble well, which I expect her to do if they do go to the floor. I think Tecia's hands are so much faster. I think she's going to land combos. Dern's stand-up is definitely developing, but it needs a lot of work here. She does get a little bit wild at times with the hands. I like Tecia Torres win by a decision in this matchup, guys. Now, as far as the line for this one, Tecia is plus 100, plus 106 best value. She's a dog. Mackenzie Dern minus 115. So I do like underdog Tecia Torres. As far as the overs, I actually like over 2.5 at minus 180, minus 185. I think it's a good touch as far as playing maybe on a parlay because it's not like Tecia Torres is a girl that even when she does lose, it's by finish. Dern, good with her submission game, has proven she can go long and go distance. I like this fight going long here. I like Tecia Torres winning a decision. If you want to really touch the Torres line, you want to play it, win via decision for Torres, plus 160 for the best value on that one. But she's not a bad plus money line touch either. So give me Tecia Torres for the W. Let's keep running. The next one is our featured bout of the night. Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat Chimaev. Listen, I'm a Khamzat guy. I shaved the mustache just for this weekend. I am going Khamzat Chimaev, and it's extreme confidence. I really believe this guy's the future of the sport. I think he's on his way to fighting for the belt, winning the belt, and doing some serious legacy-style runs, man. I think Khamzat Chimaev is a problem. Winning this fight will set up the Colby Covington fight. I think his stand-up is better than Gilbert Burns. The wrestling is clearly better. Yes, the pure jiu-jitsu of Gilbert Burns, extremely good. But Khamzat Chimaev, this is MMA grappling. It's his game. Khamzat Chimaev, if it goes to the floor, I think he'll be very cautious and even surprise Gilbert Burns. And I don't think Burns is going to have an easy time finding any submission attempt opportunities even with Khamzat Chimaev on top of him. I think Khamzat, if it goes to the floor, beats his face in. I think Khamzat Chimaev on the feet knocks out Gilbert Burns. This is an ultimate test. Gilbert Burns is an extremely high-level guy at 170, and this is a great matchup that leads to the number one contender fight. Now, if Burns did win it, I think you got to give him the Colby fight also, and that's the number one contender matchup, but they definitely want Khamzat, and I do think Khamzat Khamzat gets it done. Khamzat Chimaev win, and I am thinking knockout in the first or second rounds here for him. Now, as far as the weigh-in, we will look at it, but nothing changes here. There's Khamzat looking good and ready to rock. Shredded out. He looked lean at weigh-ins, and he still looked lean after, but he rehydrated well. There's Gilbert Burns looking good. It's a great matchup. Both guys on weight. No issues there. The face-off, you see the little bit of the size, I guess not a little bit, but a fair size advantage towards Khamzat Chimaev. And I think the physical strength edge is going to be off the charts, and he gets himself a finish, though. I think the striking is a big difference. Khamzat's a huge favorite. Minus 448 best value, minus 550 at Bet Online. Gilbert Burns is plus 415 best value. I think Chimaev to win via knockout would be a viable play at close money, minus 120, minus 105. Imagine Chimaev got a sub, it's plus 400. That'd be crazy. It definitely could happen, though. I mean, I won't doubt anything with Khamzat Chimaev. Let's see. Chimaev wins in round 1 is plus 140 best value. Chimaev wins in round 2 plus 275, upwards of plus 400. Let's see what's Chimaev wins in round 1 or 2. If that is available, it's minus 167. Really not a great touch. I do think Chimaev gets it done in the first 2. I think under 2.5 isn't a bad play either at minus 220. If the line was a little bit closer, I'd like it more, but it's definitely potential play. I don't think fight goes distance. I think it ends inside distance at minus 325. And I think Khamzat Chimaev gets his hand raised and moves on into the biggest fight of his career. Colby Covington, main event probably on UFC on ABC, which is going to be an off-the-chain event. Super exciting. Khamzat Chimaev, and he continues to ride. I'm on the Khamzat train hard, guys. Let's smish. Khamzat Chimaev via smash gets it done over Gilbert. Co-main event, Aljamain Sterling and Petr Yan 2. Finally, this beef is going to be squashed. Probably not. The beef won't ever end, really, but maybe there'll be some mutual respect. But it's really going to be, is Sterling the real champion? He's not truly. He won it by DQ, but technically he is. On paper, he is. Yan, the interim champion, he was winning that first fight, too. He was able to beat a very game Corey Sandhagen. I think Aljamain Sterling is going to succeed. Not even succeed. I think he's going to survive and fight decently well through rounds 1 and 2. But I think 3, 4, and 5, Yan absolutely destroys him. It's going to be dominant. Yan might get a finish, but I don't think it'll come easy. Sterling's a hard guy to put away. He's also very good in the early stages of the fight. He's a super athlete. He's got a tricky kickboxing style. Earlier on in the week, I was on Yan all day. Obviously, I still am. Nothing is changing. There's Yan looking in incredible shape, ready to go. Intense flex right there. There is Aljamain Sterling ready to drop a tier on the scales, and he did. He did drop a couple tiers on the scale. I don't know exactly what that was about. Maybe just being grateful of the moment, maybe fearing the moment. Either way, I think we're going to see Petr Yan do some serious damage here and get himself a win. Now, how does he get it done? I'll be honest, I'm really leaning towards decision. I do think Sterling's in great shape and is going to get beat over the full 5, but I could see Yan get it done inside of the distance too. Minus 405 best value for Yan. Sterling plus 380. I like Petr Yan for the win. I do think he gets it done. I think we're going over 2.5. Minus 190 isn't terrible. I think we're probably going 3, 4, and 5 most likely. Maybe finishing 4 or 5, so a tricky predicament here. If you're looking to play that one, maybe live betting. I guess you're probably not even going to have it available to do the overs live betting, unfortunately, man. If you did, though, I'd love to bet over 4.5, like in the third round, if you see it's, not going the finish route. Tricky to do the props here, but maybe you go Petr Yan wins via decision. If you like that side, it's about plus 130 to plus 155, or you go Yan wins by knockout. That's upwards of plus 150. Inside distance for Yan, plus 125. Overall, the value isn't great on the Yan line. He's more of a parlay piece. It's going to be very hard to money line him up and make any significant money back at you. But I like Petr Yan for the win, and I think he's dominant here, defeating Aljamain Sterling and becoming, once again, the undisputed UFC bantamweight champion. Great co-main event. In the main event, smash that like button if you guys haven't yet, and if you're new, subscribe. It is Alexander Volkanovski, Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie. Fantastic fight. Cannot wait to see these two throw down. Zombie's best chances are early. Earlier on in the week, pick is Alexander Volkanovski. We'll pull them up here on the official scales. There's Zombie looking good. There is Volk looking good as well. And then the official face-off was intense. There's a lot of intensity on the Volk side, a little more calmness and, jokiness towards the Jung side, but overall mutual respect between these two savages here. Jung is a pioneer. He's been around forever. It was a decade ago he fought Jose Aldo, and now he's back in the title shot spot. I think Alexander Volkanovski is going to be a very difficult task for Zombie. If Volkanovski is to get a finish here, I see it being an overhand right, or at least like a right over the top, a wide right hand. I think the leg of Jung, that lead leg, which he normally puts a lot of weight on, especially when he tries to fight in close in the center of the octagon, I think it's going to get chopped up. I think Volkanovski will do damage to that leg. I think it will slowly break down the Korean Zombie, and I do think we're going to see Alexander Volkanovski en route to a unanimous decision. It's hard to say Zombie will be finished. Now, of course, there is a chance we see Volkanovski with a finish in this bout, but not going to be easy to do against a guy like the Korean Zombie, who, I mean, the nickname is Zombie for a reason. As far as the line, it's disgustingly wide. There's no money to be made. It's minus 500 best value, minus 800 at other spots for Volkanovski. BetOnline has it at that. Plus 540 for the Korean Zombie, Chan Sung Jung. It's really a near untouchable line, man, which is super unfortunate. As far as you want to play over-unders, over 3.5 is minus 170 best value. I don't like it. Volkanovski wins inside distance, plus 175. Volkanovski wins via decision, minus 115. The betting side of things on Volkanovski, I mean, it's just not great value. Probably wins a decision. The books expect it. I do expect it as well. But I mean, he could stop Zombie. But I want to bring up one prop, because Zombie by KO prop is so wild and crazy. I had to play it. It's plus 1,200 best value, but plus 700 at BetOnline. Maybe just lightly sprinkle it just for the fun of it. I'm a Zombie fan, but I mean, Volkanovski is more than likely going to outpoint him for the 5 rounds and still champion of the world. I like Alexander Volkanovski in the main event. Overall, it's a pretty damn good card. I can't wait. I'll be live for the entire thing, so make sure you guys tune in to that fight companion. Before I send you guys off, though, I need to bring up best fight odds so we can finish with a couple of parlays. Let's go with Petr Yan in the parlay. Of course, you can't find Khamzat Chimaev because BetOnline just can't figure their shit out for whatever reason, and they always have him in the wrong spot. There he is, minus 490. I don't understand that at all, but Khamzat Chimaev is a staple piece. You guys know I'm Khamzat to the core. It's minus 200 for that one, but I think you got to add a little spice to it. I think Tecia Torres over 2.5, wherever it's available, might be worth the touch at plus 124. I actually have this parlay played myself. If you're not really feeling the Tecia Torres Dern side over 2.5, which I think a lot of you probably will be, we could push it towards some dangerous female like Raquel Pennington, minus 180. Maybe you want to play both Torres. I guess it's plus 130 if you had Raquel, but maybe you want to play the over 2.5 with the Torres fight also. For that, be plus 248. We're Mystic Macking it as we go more. We lost Rosenstruik, who was definitely a play. A little bit trickier with some of these close money dogs. Maybe you're feeling Anthony Hernandez and you want that plus 432 tag. I don't think this is a bad touch either. If you're feeling like, hey, Willie Cat looked pretty good on the scales and Arce looked not so great, and you want a more Hail Mary, plus 790. And of course, you could add Volkan, but he's not giving you supreme plus money unless it's a Hail Mary. So if it's a Hail Mary, this plus 900 play is a pretty fun one. If you want to go nuts, you add in somebody like Darian Weeks, but at this point, it's a lottery ticket. I mean, even right here, this is lottery ticket. This isn't like high likelihood of success play. It's a lottery ticket play. The Madsen Pichel fight, I also do like the over 2.5 in that one, plus 1431. You could just go over 2.5 with the Pichel fight and the Torres fight and then match that up with the big 3. So let me quickly actually change it to that because I want to give you guys the true money parlay, not just the long shot here. What do we got that I got to take off here? I got to take off Raquel Pennington. That's the next one we got to take off. So this one right here, Volkanovski, Chimaev, Yan, over 2.5, Torres, Dern, over 2.5 with Madsen and Pichel, plus 286. Not a bad play. I like this one, and I'm going to be throwing down on it myself. So, personally a fan. Overall, UFC 273 coming at us with the heat. Guys, I cannot wait for it. Make sure to smash the hell out of that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on and share the video as well. Keep it locked in right here on MMA Experts. I'll be live for the entire card, so let's have some fun on that fight companion. 120 likes, and you guys getting the shoey out of me. So that should be a blast. Much love, my people, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, guys.